All right, let's go Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. Panthers get the win. Congrats, Dr. Eric Eager, on the overtime win here, 36-30, walk-off win with Chuba Hubbard with the touchdown in overtime. Looked like the Panthers were letting the Cardinals creep back in. 58-yard field goal at the end of regulation. Kind of a weird sequence there to give the Cardinals the game-tying field goal to get to overtime. But the Panthers get the win to move to 4-11, moving further away from a top pick. They're now number 7 in Tankathon. Cardinals fall to 7-8 after this loss.
Well, they're the team that's damaging their draft position that probably doesn't care that much, because all of a sudden Bryce Young is playing like the number 1 overall pick that he was, just a short time ago. We were questioning, we talked him up quite a bit since his comeback. And first of all, it was like, well, he's playing well relative to the expectations from when he was benched. And then it was, okay, now he's playing well overall. And then he had that stinker against Dallas where, he fumbled the ball every time anybody got near him, and he was just overwhelmed by a more talented defense, I think. And then we were questioning, well, how does he bounce back? This is the first legitimate setback since he was benched, since he was sat down, since he was essentially written off as a quarterback. And, he didn't just bounce back reasonably well. Like, this might have been his best game. He was outstanding in this game, and in a variety of different ways. I've said repeatedly since he came back, we have seen Alabama Bryce Young for the first time really in the NFL. This looked like an Alabama game. Like, he's out there scrambling for positive plays. He scrambles for a touchdown. He trucks a guy in the secondary. 5'10", 180-pound Bryce Young trucked a safety, I think, coming up to try and tackle him. He delivers a pass whilst getting literally deleted from the play by an unblocked blitzer right up the middle. Pops up, smiling at the guy, loving life again. And then I think the next play or 2 plays later, delivers an absolute dime into the end zone on a fade route to a receiver for a touchdown. I'm so impressed by Bryce Young in this game. This was the Alabama Bryce Young. Okay, caveat, Cardinals defense, we know that they don't have a ton of talent from a personnel standpoint, but it's a well-coached unit, and it was torn apart by Bryce Young.
And so for the 4th time this year, we're explaining to people in a game where Bryce Young had 158 passing yards, Sam.
Right.
Can't be more impressed. And it's true. Again, big-time throws that he's made, touch throws. I thought his touch was outstanding. Deep ball, got dropped. Another one, receiver couldn't keep his feet in bounds. Had a great one to David Moore for a touchdown. And then, he was just unbelievable in this game. Again, as you mentioned, running, throwing the ball, comfort level, don't care about the stat sheet. I know the passer rating is fine, and he threw 2 touchdowns on 26 attempts. Another really clean game from Bryce Young.
Well, this one at least you can easily give him back. Previously it's been okay, there's 100 hidden yards in here by receivers not making plays. There's one of those plays in this game, but more importantly, he had 68 rushing yards. So you can simply say, he's got 68 more yards than you're paying attention to if you're only looking at the passing stats.
Oh, it was legit, man. The only big one there, Carolina's running out the clock late. They're up 3, and Bryce Young hits a nice 3rd and 8 throw. And again, this is where I think I've been most impressed by him, is key 3rd downs, whether it's Kansas City game under pressure, Bucks game, he made some big ones. 3rd and 8 converts the first down. They still have enough. They'd still need one more first down to clinch it.
Right. Has
an open 3rd and 3, and he kind of misses that one. So he did let Arizona back in right at the end of regulation. So it wasn't all, again, it's not all perfect.
Right.
But add this, another box to tick, right? What happens after a bad game, with Bryce Young? For a guy that was stacking poor games as a rookie and early this year. You mentioned what seemed like the mental aspect of it, not free and having fun, not playing with the playmaking ability that he had at Alabama. So this was another box to tick, I think, bouncing back from a bad game and showing that, he had the amnesia needed to play quarterback the right way.
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't perfect. That 3rd down was one he'd want back. Huge game from both the primary running backs in this game. James Conner was fantastic, didn't end up mattering because Chuba Hubbard was the guy that salted the game away in overtime. And I felt really good for Chuba Hubbard because, remember, he was the guy that fumbled the ball the last time they were in overtime against the Bucks, right? Basically cost them the game. he gets to be the guy that ices it with a touchdown in overtime and puts it away. So amazing Bryce Young performance. Chuba Hubbard was fantastic. Like, the Panthers, as I say, they're the one team that's damaging their draft position, that are probably looking at it and going, well, we've got our quarterback anyway. We're not in the quarterback market, at which point the difference between, the 3rd overall pick and the 8th overall pick, it's not that big a deal.
So the Cardinals are officially eliminated from the playoffs. A couple interesting dynamic, an interesting dynamic here. In overtime, both teams had traded a couple possessions. Arizona went for it on 4th and 2 on their own 18 in overtime. And a lot of people are asking, like, why are you doing this? Because if you don't get it, obviously Carolina is immediately in field goal range and you're going to lose the game. Cardinals needed a win is the problem, right? A loss is as bad as a tie in that situation for the Cardinals. I think they're probably eliminated by both. They needed a win to stay in, and credit Jonathan Gannon for making that decision. I still come away from this Cardinal season overall impressed by Jonathan Gannon and what he's done. Kyler's going to be fine, though he's very inconsistent. Had an ugly interception in the comeback attempt here, and then all of a sudden he's running sweeps for touchdowns. I mean, he could do both ends of volatility for Kyler, but Arizona overall, to be impressive this season. James Conner, shout out to him, as you already mentioned. He was unbelievable in this game. I think there's a foundation to build upon in Arizona. I think there's just certain games where the talent deficit catches up, and this ends up being one of them.
Yeah, I think that's true. The other thing is, though, how wildly we've been making this point all the way through the season, right? The Cardinals go as Kyler Murray goes, and when he plays like Superman, they're extremely difficult to stop. It is worth noting how rarely that occurs, though. Like, at least this year. I mean, he's done it previously on a more regular basis. But you look at his season this year, it's like 3-4 maybe performances where he plays amazingly. The baseline in the games where that doesn't happen is not particularly high.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how you solve that. That's kind of like, how do you beat good teams versus only beating up on bad teams? I don't know how you solve consistency issues, but obviously it's a huge factor with Kyler and the Cardinals. So yeah, good win by Carolina in overtime. Anything else on this one?
No, I got no more use for that game.
Oh, look at you, stealing my lines.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.